Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the June 21st, 2010 City of Waukegan City Council meeting. Could we have the roll call, please?
Alderman Conkin. Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham.
Present.
Alderman Larson.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Cunningham.
Thank you. Present and accounted for. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would join me for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. Under my comments, just a couple of quick things. The application deadline for the Senior Citizens Assessment Freeze Homestead Exemption is coming up June 30th. Seniors with a household income of $55,000 or less may be eligible for the Senior Citizen Assessment Freeze Homestead Exemption. To qualify, you must also qualify for the Senior Homestead Exemption, and the property must be your principal place of residence for a period of time that includes 2 consecutive January 1st dates. For assistance and copies of the application, please contact your local township assessor. The county assessor's website is also available, and that would be gotten to from the County of Lakes website. He has his own link there. So just wanted to make folks aware of that. Then there has come up, and this is a real rare opportunity this year, there is a summer youth employment opportunity. The Lake County Workforce Development Department has received an Illinois YES Youth Employment for the Summer grant. This grant will provide work to eligible youth aged 16 to 24 at work sites throughout the county. You might be eligible if you are an Illinois resident living with a parent or caretaker or a parent of a minor child, household income at 200% of the federal poverty line, or you're on food stamps or a medical card recipient, and you must be authorized to work in the United States. If you are interested in learning more about the program, please contact the Workforce Development Department over at the county at area code 847-377-3420. Do we have any oh, we do. We have some people signing up for public comment.
Yeah, what was that age there?
Say that again,
16.
Sam?
15 or 16?
16. And these are rare because not many bodies of government are actually able to bring young people on for summer jobs this year. So I would suggest that you get this information out to your constituents as quickly as you can. We're going to post it on our website with the contact information, as well as posting the senior exemption information too, so that people of the city. Yes, Alderman Figueroa.
Clarification on the youth. Let me turn this mic. Point of clarification. We've been getting this for the last couple of years. The youth funding for summer employment. What happens that this year didn't get approved. The funding didn't get approved through the WEA Act until just a couple weeks ago. So that's why it's so late in coming.
Right.
We've had this every year, but it just got funded just recently.
Yeah,
and that's
everything
through
is
the
running
Workforce
late.
Investment Act funding.
Right. Thank you, Alderman Figueroa. Appreciate that update. On the audience time, first up is Sarah Rankin. And Sarah, I see here a Genesee Theater address, but we do need your actual home address, please. If you could give that to us when you come forward to speak at the podium.
My home address is 11905 306 Court, Twin Lakes, Wisconsin, 53181.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the council. In an effort to keep the community better informed, I would like to speak with you this evening about the Genesee Theater's upcoming events and recent initiatives. I'm pleased to inform the council that this week the downtown should be bustling with activity with the arrival of the National Applause Talent Competition. Over the course of the next few days, you will see several thousand individuals pass through, spending dollars on food, lodging, and services in Waukegan and the surrounding counties. To complement the informal Scooped Unplugged festivities, the Genesee has scheduled 2 showings of the popular 70s classic Jaws on July 9th and 10th at 7:30 p.m. We hope that this supplemental programming encourages participants to make it a full weekend in downtown Waukegan. Some highlights of the upcoming events in the theater's calendar are Bill Maher on July 31st, Gabriel Iglesias, the Fluffy Comic, on September 24th, NBC's Last Comic Standing live tour on October 8th, and TLC's Cake Boss, Buddy Velastro, on November 12th. I'd also like to speak about some of our community outreach-based programming at the Genesee. Most recently, we were pleased to screen 2 documentaries filmed by Waukegan High School students prior to our film showing of Back to the Future. More than 300 local patrons attended this screening, making it one of our most popular movie nights yet. On July 17th, we will again showcase independent talent with the world premiere showing of the full feature film, The Long December, directed by Benny Waddell, a local filmmaker and Columbia graduate. And we are very honored this October to be hosting the Striving and Surviving Foundation's Breast Cancer Benefit. This great event will showcase artists like Jerry the Iceman Butler, and more importantly, will raise awareness and proceeds to support Lake County cancer patients and their families through their challenging treatment process. In closing, I would like to express on behalf of the Genesee Theater management team how proud we are to bring quality programming to the theater and continued recognition to this great community. We believe that an increasingly vibrant downtown art and business culture is achievable, and that our commitment to event bookings and theater activities will help the city and its citizens reach its goal. I appreciate your time and the opportunity to speak, and thank you for continuing to support your Genesee Theater.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up, Mr. Chris Blanks, 409 Oak Street, Waukegan, Illinois.
Brother Blanks, 409 Oak Street, Waukegan. A couple of things. You know, we just recently, we finished the job at the Bedrosen Park, the water sprinkler park. And if you all can recall, I did come to you all and asking that you take highly into consideration some speed deterrents around that area. I think, Wayne, the park is scheduled to open like the 1st of July, am I right? So it's going to be a high traffic and a high volume of youth around that park. It always has been, but even more so now. So if we can think about getting some speed deterrents, that would really be good. So I had an opportunity to work on that job site. I really valued and appreciated that opportunity at working on that job site at in the park where perhaps maybe my grandsons one day would be playing. So I got a lot out of that. And one of the biggest things I really got out of that, which I really appreciated, in going back to my old company, that the general contractor, Stuckey Construction, accepted our recommendation for hiring a young man out of the Waukegan community and giving him his first shot and chance at union construction. So that was really good. So I want to openly and appreciate Mr. Stuckey Construction, Ed Stuckey, for accepting that recommendation and hiring this young man. And last but not least, Mayor, I really would like, I know you did say that we can have a meeting about it, but I really would like for you to have some type of input, because I know it's something that really interests and has concern with Waukegan as a whole. About the local hiring ordinance, I know there's like $50 million between 2011 and 2015, $50 million of construction that is coming to this town, and there definitely need to be a level playing field for opportunity. So if you can just kind of briefly give us your views on what you think about that, and what is the status of that?
I'm sorry, right now?
If you can, because I know, it really is the interest of, I know, the community as a whole.
Sure.
So, I really would like some input on that for the community as well.
Well, of course, we support hiring local people for jobs. Why would I say no to that? But
Okay.
it is something that we also have to recognize we don't have total control over that either. The projects that you're talking about are not funded by the city of Waukegan.
Right.
They are not hired out by the city of Waukegan. You must be referring to the demolition of the OMC plant. Is that what you're referring to?
No. I'm just saying, in general, there's going to be a lot of construction that's coming into the Lake County and Waukegan area.
Okay.
And I know there was, one of the aldermen said you was in opposition to this hiring ordinance because allegedly you felt that it might have been discriminatory, and I don't know, but I wanted clarity from you on that,
Sure.
from yourself, for the best interest of the citizens. So we'll know your position on that.
Well, of course we want Waukegan people hired, but we also don't want to create a situation where we get into competition with surrounding communities at excluding people from being hired, because people from Waukegan work in Vernon Hills and other areas.
I know, I do.
And that's
as well.
something that we have to keep in mind. The other issue was the base legality of a hiring ordinance.
Yeah.
Was absolutely brought into question, not only by our corporation council, but even by the city of Chicago's corporation council, and they have one. And he told us, they said this is a violation of interstate federal commerce rules to have a hiring quota based on local residents. And that the city of Chicago has just been lucky up to this point that they haven't been challenged in a forceful way, that their law is still in place because of that. But at the same time, obviously, if opportunities arise, we would encourage people to hire Waukegan people, but we can't force them to.
Your Honor?
Yes,
If I
Alderman
may,
Figueroa.
that ordinance, local hiring ordinance, was delegated to the Judiciary Committee with the help of the Corporation Council and the firm that he uses for
Ansel Click,
ordinances.
right.
Right, exactly. We have something that we're looking at right now that'll be coming out of committee this month and to the other aldermen.
Okay.
To the floor.
But it still has the basic question of its constitutionality is still.
I believe that
Over and
one,
over.
that was resolved. I believe
Okay.
that, but just the way it was written and, but the encouragement of hiring locally. So we're still working on it, but that has to go through judiciary and then to the floor.
Okay. And I have yet to see their work on
So
this.
it's a matter of doing some tweaking to it. I just want to say, as a construction worker, if there's any input or anything that I can offer to be of assistance in that, I'm more than willing to, because I do want to see our young people in the community have a shot at some of this money that is coming here.
There's no doubt about it. And,
Yeah.
one of the things, Chris, that we're talking, that I have been kind of formulating and working on is this thing called the Waukegan Industrial Council, which is going to help to identify the types of job skills that need to be taught to people in this community to attract new business here. And that's been one of our biggest problems, is the fact that we don't have the job skills that really are necessary to bring a lot of new business here. And that's something we need to work on. And, at the mayor's conference just last week, the Secretary of Commerce was there and spoke to the issue of economic development. And I did ask the question. I said, there are cities like Waukegan that have so much potential and so many people desperate for jobs, but the new economy, the new type of jobs are different than what we had. When I worked as a construction worker during the 70s, it's a different world. And you can't rely totally on construction jobs, because those are a phase of bringing new business to the city. That's only a phase of it. What we need to do is we need to teach people the skills that will keep them employed all the time, not just during one phase of a project. So when I spoke to him about that, he agreed. And I asked him, I said, would you please take this message back with you to Washington, D.C., that Waukegan isn't unique. There are thousands of cities across the United States that need help with job training for young people so that they can get jobs, not just construction jobs, but higher paying, more technical jobs as well. I've spoken with a number of business owners in this community about hiring more people and what it's going to take to get more people on the job. And one of the things they told me, they said, it's not for a shortage of people, it's a shortage of the skills that they need to man their production lines, their whatever it might be that they're producing. So we need to address this in a broader sense than just not only what Tony's looking at, but also the bigger picture. And one of the things I'm hoping to be able to do in the next 60 days is to create this Waukegan Industrial Council, bringing local large business owners together so we can figure out a plan as to how to get those job skills out to the people of Waukegan. And it's going to take working with the school district, working with the College of Lake County, working with the unions to be able to create these types of skills so that people can be employed year-round, not just during the construction season, but year-round, in a more stable work environment.
Well, once again, in whatever way our organization can help be a part of the solution, let me know.
I'm absolutely on board, and when we get moving on it, Chris, we'll get in touch with you. So it's going to take a few months to get this group put together, because we have to, pick the right people to be on it, but we are going to move it forward.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Chris. Next up is Mr. Joseph Schmidt at, Joe, is it 813 or 313 Oak? 313. Okay, thank you. No, it's actually my eyesight.
Combination thereof. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor, members of the City Council. My name is Joe Schmidt. I am the president and founder of an organization called Former Inmates Striving Together. We are based here in Waukegan at 213 Water Street. I come tonight to speak to an application that we have for an event party on July 10th as part of Scoop Unplugged. We've applied for a permit to operate a barbecue pit on city property on the northwest corner of Genesee and Belvedere Roads. I'd like to bring Your Honor's attention. We have required insurance, health department permits, and everything in place. We'd like to make Scoop Unplugged part of a family operation, family-oriented avenue in downtown Waukegan on the weekends. That event, we will have a moonwalk for children. We'll have removable tattoos. We'll have chairs for a viewing area. We want to set up a family-friendly area so that everybody in the family can enjoy Scoop and not just people who are riding up and down the cars. And that's basically what I had, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We can talk about this a little bit later. Yeah. Okay. All right. Ms. Violet Ricker, 10 North Sheridan Road.
Sorry about that stuff today.
Okay, thanks.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Violet Ricker. I'm the director of Waukegan Main Street, and I live at 10 North Sheridan Road. I'm presenting tonight our outcomes report that we present every month to let you know what Main Street has been up to. You can review that and ask me any questions if you have any, but tonight I would like to highlight on the reverse side of your report, we have a couple upcoming events I'd like to draw your attention to. One is the Mariposa Festival, which is going to be this Saturday with Honorary Chairman Alderman Figueroa. We really appreciate him supporting that event. And as mentioned, Scoop Unplugged is being organized by a number of downtown groups and business owners, and we're really looking forward to that and how the community has come together to put that on and carry on that tradition. So we certainly appreciate all the work that FIST, all of the downtown restaurants and business owners, and the Genesee Theater have been doing. They've been really very supportive, and we're really looking forward to that. I'd also like to draw your attention to, as promised, some more cool things from downtown Waukegan. This week, I got this cool truck at Balderdash Collection. I'd like everybody to enjoy this. Balderdash is actually a consignment shop, and some of the things that they sell give their proceeds to local businesses. So this truck and a couple of their other figurines, the proceeds go to FIST. I also got these really cool sunglasses and some bracelets from FIST. Another thing that's exciting that's happening in downtown Waukegan is the Alice Brown Art Gallery is opening at 228D North Genesee Street, and so I brought some of Alice's art to show you tonight. So this is a painting that she drew. We're very excited to have another art gallery opening up in downtown Waukegan. And this is another one that she did. So I told her I would be happy to share all these with you tonight. So she is opening up that gallery in July. So So we're looking forward to that and supporting that. We also have the Sage Cafe opening up at 300 North Grand Avenue, where the old Grand County Cafe was. That'll be opening up in July. And we've just welcomed Karma to downtown, and so we're very, very fortunate with all the stuff we've got going on in downtown. We'd encourage you all to check it out, and I hope to see all of you at the festival this Saturday in downtown Waukegan. So, thanks very much.
Thank you, Violet. Appreciate the update on all of that. One thing that, and this is something that I'll get together with you and talk about, which is, I just came through, we were up in Wisconsin the other day, and up around Whitewater, and we picked up their local small newspaper that covers all of the local cities, for probably 30 or 40 miles, and all the little events that they have. And it is really amazing how these small communities can turn out a lot of these small events, wine tastings, things like that. And I brought the paper home, so I'm going to share it with you. And I'm hoping that it's something that can act as an inspiration for, expanding. You're doing a lot. But we know that it's about bringing people into Waukegan, and what attracts people into Waukegan are fun special events, just like it does any place else. So I'll get that to you, and maybe we can sit down and talk about it and see which of these things might be a good fit for Waukegan and what doesn't make sense, because obviously it's a more rural environment up there. But I think we need to expand. We need to keep pushing and moving these opportunities for people to be here. I think the talent show that's coming up is, if you haven't been downtown when they have one of these talent shows, you need to come down and take a look at the number of people that come pouring out of that theater, especially the parents who can't stand to sit in the theater for another minute watching all of this stuff go on because it's not their kids on stage at the minute. But they come into the restaurants and they eat and they have a good time, and they walk up and down Genesee Street, and if we're down there to talk to them and greet them and be part of the event, it's really amazing, the interaction and the positive kind of vibe that you can get off of these. The talent shows are really a good draw, and it's something that we need to really work at, trying to bring more of that will bring parents and bring their children down together into our downtown. But we need to be present as elected officials at these events. We need to be part of it. It's really important. I try to make as many as I can, and like the Dandelion Wine Festival, that was wonderful. It's just great to get out there and see people enjoying Waukegan, and to make them understand that we appreciate their being here, and that this is a great, safe place to have fun, because it truly is. So I would encourage everybody to try to be present at some of these events as best that we can. So thanks again, Violet. Appreciate all the work that you're doing. And that ends our comments for audience time. I'll take a motion to accept the minutes of June 7th, 2010 regular meeting, the executive session minutes, and special city council meeting minutes of June 11th, 2010. Motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Conken. Do we do roll call on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, then next we have resolutions and proclamations. Do you want it read into the record? Okay. Well, Wayne has prepared a proclamation for Olympic Day, June 23rd, 2010. We'll skip reading it into the record, but we'll make sure it gets to the appropriate people. We have a motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Now, just I want to say real quickly, before we adjourn, we will go into a very brief executive session. So once we're done with the alderman's time, for, as I've said before, for all intents and purposes, the meeting will be over. So if the public would like to leave at that time, then all we do is come back and re-adjourn and adjourn for the evening then. First up, we have under committee reports, the Finance Committee report, Alderman Needham.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item A and item B are going to be held over. We're going to have a meeting a week from today, next Monday, 4:30 to 6:30, to discuss our capital project program, try to fine-tune it during the upcoming week. And we would like to meet with some of the department heads, try to tweak the plans to make sure these amounts are correct, what we need and what we want. So those two items are going to be held over. Item C The motion should read, Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the City Council approve the 2 maintenance contracts, one for the utilities, which is the upgrades, I believe, maintenance in the amount of $16,384.95, and one for support maintenance in the amount of $17,200.90, and that is for the Kayenta program that we have in place right now.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman. We have a motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank
And-
you.
And FYI, that'll conclude the finance report, but if you want to adjust your agenda at the bottom, Roman numeral 11, items B and C, those are for the ordinance. Those will be held over too. Yes.
Yeah, B and C, under ordinances and resolutions.
They correspond to the committee motions.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, what time is that meeting next Monday?
4:30 to 6:30 next Monday. I believe everybody got a notice on it.
Item I on section 10, is that the same thing we just voted on?
Yes, yes, yes. Comes out too.
Okay,
That's all,
thank
yeah.
you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Alderman Needham. Next up, we have the Public Works Committee, Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Your Honor. Public Works Committee report. Item A, request permission to enter into a permanent agreement with TDS Metrocom. Metrocom's entered into a license agreement with the city to provide for the installation of a fiber optic loop, within the city right of way. And the motion will read as follows. Motion. There was a motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Conken, to authorize Corporation Council to draft a license agreement with TDS Metrocom to extend their line to serve the College Lake County at Genesee Street and Madison Street.
Okay, thank you. We have the motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Conken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Okay, ayes have it. Thank you.
Item B, the custodial, approved the custodial water main agreement and the custodial sanitary sewer agreement with the Village Park Apartments. I believe this is in your ward, Village Park. Well, attached, if you can see, you'll find the subject custodial water main agreement and a custodial sanitary sewer agreement. The document specified that the water main and sanitary sewer located within the Village Park Apartments will be maintained privately by the owner and to the specifications of the City of Waukegan. The motion will read, motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Conken, to approve the custodial water main agreement and the custodial sanitary sewer agreement with Village Park Apartments as presented.
Thank you. We have the motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Conken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item C is permission to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 Sanitary Sewer Route Control Program. The funds are available for this program in light in my item 55591-602-4438. There's a motion by Alderman Cunningham, second by Alderman Newsom, to draft specifications and advertise for bids for 2010 Sanitary Sewer Route Control Program.
Thank you. We have a motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay, item D, permission to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 CDBG sidewalk program. The motion by Alderman Conken and seconded by Alderman Cunningham to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 CDBG sidewalk program.
We have the motion by Alderman Conken, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item E, permission to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 sanitary and storm sewer maintenance contract. When funds become available for this program, it will be in line item 55591, 6027691. There was a motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Conken to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 sanitary and storm sewer maintenance contract.
Thank you. Motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Conken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item F, permission to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 sanitary sewer lift station maintenance contract. Funds are available for this program in line item 55591, 382, 4412. There was a motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Cunningham, to draft specifications and advertise for bids for the 2010 sanitary sewer lift station maintenance contract.
We have the motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. That concludes the Public Works Committee business for this evening. Thank you, Alderman Rivera. We have no old business before us. Nothing under communications. We go to number 10, new business, recommended actions by Corporation Council. Item A, which is to approve the payroll dated June 16th, 2010 in the amount of $1,378,308.57. Take a motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item B, approve bills dated June 21st, 2010 in the amount of $925,548.73. Motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Do we have anything under block parties tonight? Alderman Tempest?
Yeah,
Motion by Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Needham. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. D, which is our monthly report from the Collector's Office and Treasurer's Office for the month of May 2010. Dr. Schwab?
So presented.
As presented. Okay, thank you very much. Do we need a motion to accept?
I move that the monthly report from the Collector's Office and Treasurer's Office be received and placed on file.
Motion by Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Needham. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Item E, which is the approval of the outdoor special event application for the Scoop Unplugged Block Party. We'll take a motion by Alderman...
So moved.
I'm sorry, Alderman Figueroa, seconded by Alderman Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Item F.
I would like to hold that over, Your Honor. We just received this agreement this evening on the table here.
Okay.
I sat down and read it through, and there's some things I think that we're required to do that I'd like to meet with the city engineer to see who's going to do these things and what the obligations are going to be from Park City also.
Oh, you're talking about the next item.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood
Your
you.
Honor?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Do we have, can I have Ron come up here?
Yeah, Ron, if you'd like to come up, maybe you
You
can
know,
address some of the alderman's concerns now, but if he wants to hold it over, would that cause us any issues with it?
Right, and that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't believe it will, although if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. We've already approved the first 5-year maintenance. That's covered under the existing contract that we have with Ryan Incorporated. So
I think I'd like to see the Ryan agreement, because there's some things in this agreement, who's going to make these reports, who's going to make sure it gets done.
Okay.
The land there, I think, belongs to, we de-annexed that detention pond area,
Right.
gave that to Nugent, so all his property was together. He wants to donate that, I believe, to Park City. Park City don't know if they want it donated to them. And then you've got some things in there, who's going to be responsible dollar-wise to maintain this for the first 5 years? Who's going to do the reports for us? Who's going to make sure these species, plants are going to be done? Who's going to do the burn after it gets enough to burn it off every so years? I have a lot of questions, and do we have a lot of answers? And another thing that bothered me in the report that I read, the prior engineer put a bike path in there. He wanted a bike path. Never told us about it. Just he did that all the time. He was a bike path nut. Nothing wrong with him, but we ought to be informed. And they threw it out.
right now, the walking path, it wasn't desired by Park City, so they wanted that
But
deleted
we
from
should
the
know all these
contract.
things, you know. We should discuss these things and know these things, you know. Our city prior engineer just put stuff in, put a bike path underneath Sheridan Road. It had a tremendous cost to the project. They have their own little agendas, and we as the body should, and the mayor should all know it together. So there are some questions still that I have concern. How much is the grant worth? How much money are we going to end up paying in the future years?
I can discuss that with you.
We need to know those things
Later on
before
this
we
week.
say yes, yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, and we can prepare an overview of all of these questions that the alderman has for everybody. So it won't be just to you, Alderman Tempest. We'll make sure that everybody receives the information
I
that's
speak
necessary.
for all my fellow aldermen, I think.
Thank you, Alderman Tempest. So we will hold that over until the next meeting and give the alderman time to
I'm
meet
sure you
with
agree
Ron.
too. You want to know.
I don't have any problem with it, as long as it doesn't impinge on being able to get the project going, because there's been a lot of time and effort put into it. Mr. Neerheim has donated property to help make this happen. It was very generous of him.
There's grants involved, too.
Yeah, the grants as well, so we don't want to look the gift horse, as it were. Yeah, so, but thank you, Alderman Tempest. And again, we'll make sure to set up that meeting with you and Mr. Laubach as soon as possible.
Chairman of Public Works.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I too have some questions, Your Honor, on that, so if I could be included on that, reading through this,
Sure.
okay?
Absolutely. Great. Okay, so F is being held over. Then we'll move on to item G, which is the grant permission to the Lamb's Farm for their popcorn days on October 1st through the 2nd of 2010.
So moved.
A motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. I'm sure the Lamb's Farms will be most appreciative of that.
H we already did, Your Honor, Public Works.
H was done. Okay, very good. Then we move on to ordinances and resolutions. We have only one remaining since the bond issue was taken off the table for tonight. What we're dealing with is an ordinance to reflect a handicap parking only.
So moved.
Well, Alderman, please.
That was done.
Alderman, reflect the handicap parking only in front of the residence commonly known as 842 McAllister Avenue. So we have a motion. I'm sorry, who made the motion again? Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Conken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Did you say aye, Alderman?
Yeah.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right, now we will go to Alderman's time. And Mr. Clerk, if you would please start it off.
Alderman Conken.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to the Public Works Department. I know that you guys did a lot of work on Friday afternoon, evening, and Saturday, trying to get everything restored back to normal from the trees and branches, everything that blew down the city, and especially, I know that there was a big tree cracked on A Street, and I appreciate you getting down there and getting it cleared away. I think you guys did a fine job. We've got the 4th of July parade coming up next Sunday, and I'd like to see everybody down on Sheridan Road between Grand and Belvedere or Bowen Park. I believe it's always a good parade, and I hope to see a lot of people down there. And lastly, hope everybody realizes my prediction last council meeting came true. I predicted the Blackhawks on Wednesday, 8-14. Thank you.
If I might, just real quick, since you did bring up the ComEd issue, I'd like to read very quickly the latest update I got just a little bit ago regarding where they are. They anticipate that 99% of the customers will be restored or should have been restored by today or this evening at 11 o'clock. The rest will be restored by Tuesday at 11 p.m. So that is their outlook at this moment. So I just wanted to get that out there real quick, that they've done pretty good work on trying to bring this back. The biggest problem was the fact that we had a lot of branches come down in backyards, and they tore out the services right from the homes, and they had to deal with the larger ones first, and then now they're getting into the individual homes. I will say that Tom and his crew and the fire department, Chief Young and Chief Yancey, all of you guys did a great job managing the storm. Tom had the idea over the weekend to do wellness checks on residents that had power out. The fire department got out there using the list that Tom generated, and they did wellness checks on people, and I'm sure it was much appreciated by those seniors. And we also sent out a voicemail message to the residents asking them if they knew of any elderly residents or people who were not well that had their homes that had no electricity to notify us so that we could get over there and lend them a hand if necessary. So a great round of thank yous go out to the people that worked so hard this weekend to clean up the storm damage and to reach out to the people of Waukegan to help keep them safe and sound. So thanks, guys. So I'm sorry to interrupt the Alderman's time on that.
Alderman Figueroa.
Thank you. Your Honor, I can't express how the importance of when we have storms such as we had last Friday. You see down power lines either at home or on the street, in your backyard. Do not go anywhere near those lines. It's there. Some of them are still alive, and I know that we didn't have any problems in Waukegan, did we? I know in some of the other communities we had some people that were injured by power lines. So, good job to Public Works. Earlier tonight, we had an update from Aon at a joint meeting between the Finance and Labor Relations Committee. I don't know if that didn't hear a report tonight on that, but I would like to say that. Were you going to report on that, Alderman Needham? Were you going to report on the joint meeting between Finance and Labor this evening? Well, let me just say that Aon came in and gave an update, and a couple of things that really took me back when they're talking about core values and goal setting for the city of Waukegan. That's something that I know several of the aldermen have been talking about this for years, about coming up with a program for goal setting, and the core values are certainly a portion of that. And there's a new SOP for some internal departments. So I would personally like to see those as soon as that they are made available, just to brush up on and see if some of the ideas that we've been trying to implement over the years are finally being implemented. I think that it's certainly refreshing to see that that's happening. How we're going to get that implemented is a different question. I would like to see that. The other thing is, as part of the report, was risk management and workplace safety. Workplace safety has been something that, in my private life, working for a company for 32 years. I was a safety engineer as part of my duties. And workplace safety was very, very important. And the numbers that I heard tonight of, and I know it's different than a manufacturing, but part of the workplace safety that we worked on when I was with that company was with Public Works and implementing that. And some of the numbers that I heard tonight were just staggering as to the number of injuries that we have on an annual basis. Percentage, very high. Certainly there's money to be saved by implementing the safety program, and I look forward to trying to help in any way possible to make sure we can reduce the number of safety issues and safety problems in the area. Met the young lady who's a safety engineer. I don't remember her. She's with Aon, and they're looking at all of these. We've already started implementing with meetings and whatnot, but the sooner we get this, the sooner we start saving money. And it was already mentioned the Mariposa Festival this weekend. It's a first annual. Let's bring the kids down. Let's have and families. Let's try to make this a success. We'll be planning for future events. The more events of this type in Waukegan, the better off we'll be. Excuse me. That's it.
Alderman Newsom.
Thank you, Your Honor. I wanted to bring up the issue of noise regarding summer parties and the loud music parties at residents' homes. Be friendly and let your neighbors know when you're going to have a party and have music loud enough, but still be conscious and turn that music down when it starts getting dusk, because it's disturbing to some of the neighbors, and not only the neighbors, if you can hear it throughout the neighborhood, it's too loud. So be aware of your neighbors and be friendly and neighborly and turn your music down at a reasonable hour. And also a reminder about my ward meeting. Fifth Ward residents will be this Thursday evening, 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. Refreshments will be served starting at 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Alderman Tempest.
Pass.
Alderman Needham.
Thank you. Just a couple quick things. Piggyback on our comment issue. My ward got hit pretty hard. I know it's no fun for going without electricity for 2 days, but that's what most of my people did. I was on the phone with Mr. Haggerty all weekend. He was on the phone with ComEd on the computer. I think they had a fairly good plan in place, like the mayor alluded to. We not only had area outages, we had the outages with the trees pulling the service away from the pole and vice versa, which complicates things. You know, I've got a very good ward. They check on each other, take care of each other. You communicate the best you can with them. When it got to a certain point, when the power was foreseen not to go on for a time being, we implemented the police and fire wellness checks, which were tremendous. As much as we like to beat ComEd up, I think they worked as fast as they could, considering all the circumstances. And I felt pretty good. Well, I shouldn't say pretty good, but when I found out there were several areas in Lake Forest without power still, and most of ours was back up. So thank you to Tom Haggerty and his crew for a job well done. Another issue I need a little bit of an update on is, I was out of town for a week, is our beach situation. I know I've Lisa May and Todd Binning sitting out in the audience, who's been working very hard on it. I've gotten bits and pieces of what's going on as far as the meetings with the Park District. Apparently it's too late in the year for them to take it on. I know Public Works, you know, we've gotten some porta potties down there to address that issue, garbage cleanup. Do you have an update, or is there a point person that could bring us
Well-
up to speed, how we're going to proceed moving forward?
Noel was helping work on this, but to be honest with you, we're a little bit hamstrung by not being able to make official requests for assistance because of the same reasons we don't have the lifeguards. So we have had informal conversations where suggestions were made as to what could be done. The group, the Friends of the Waukegan Beach, I think is stepping up. I think that the Waukegan, is it the Alumni Association? Charlotte Callahan has sent out emails and kind of expanded the list of assistance, if I remember correctly. I think one of our own employees, Kurt Day, is kind of stepping up to the plate a little bit, but it has to be informal. But I think people are turning out. I think that the groups that have risen up to are rising up to the challenge. It may not be perfect, but I think we're going to be able to get through the summer.
Right, I'm just wondering if we have a plan in place, we can talk later. Is it okay if? Because I know, you know, with their group, you know, they've got a great group. With the former inmate group helped out. I mean, they've rallied a lot of people together. I just haven't heard anything pulled together.
Well, I think you pretty much got the big picture.
Okay.
About where we're at on it.
Okay.
And it is one of those things that's really good to see. Is it's kind of brought some people in Waukegan together, and they're doing things that you haven't seen done in Waukegan for a while, and it's good to see it. And we really appreciate it, because I think we're going to be in this situation for a while. So, and we will be talking to the Park District. In fact, I've had a little bit of informal communication between myself and Greg Petrie, and Wayne Motley also has been involved a little bit as a member of the Park Board. But I've actually sent an email to Greg about getting together for lunch next week and beginning the discussion as to what can be done for next year.
Okay.
And we'll keep you apprised every step of the way.
Thank you for all your efforts out there. And can we talk afterwards too? Okay. Thank you.
Alderman Larson?
Thank you. Both of my points I had here have been covered, but I'm going to go over them again. I was going to tell you. I believe our fire department and the related safety officers made something in excess of 140 well-being calls, stops at homes during the outage. So Chief Young and your troops and everybody involved, it is appreciated. I've gotten phone calls saying that they did a wonderful job, and the citizens of Waukegan do notice the good deeds that our public safety officers and fire department personnel do. So thanks again, Dan, for your efforts and Chief Yancey for coordinating together, and especially the senior citizens, knowing that we're watching out for them to the best of our ability. It's well appreciated. And the Waukegan Boosters are having a cleanup this Saturday, 1 to 3, I believe it is. Got an email from Shar. It kind of overlaps with the Mariposa Festival, but work hard for an hour or two and then go up to Mariposa and have some food and drink and buy some art. So I think we can get a lot of people down there for good causes again this weekend. Thank you. That's all I have.
Alderman Rivera?
I also want to commend, not only Public Works, they did a terrific job over the weekend, but everyone, all the employees of the city of Waukegan, they've been doing a tremendous job, with not that many employees working, but they're doing a great job for what they're doing. Also, I really want to bring up, I'm very concerned, and I know all the aldermen here are concerned, but I want to bring up, once again, our homes that are being foreclosed and the grass. I mean, it's just making the town look pretty bad. I myself have emailed our corporation council all the addresses that I have in my ward, and I picked out already about 17 homes that need attention big time. And I know some of these situations are because they're in the bank, and there's a process there. But some of them are probably homeowners that don't even live in the city, that haven't really checked out their homes probably in the last 6 months. But we need to get in contact with these people because it's really making the community look bad. So I just want to know, how can we address this? And I know code compliance right now is, they're busy, but do we need to stop doing the inspections? And I know that's revenue. But what's more important here? I mean, right now, it makes our town look bad. And we need to do something. We need to have something in place for that. Just seeing those homes with, 4 feet of grass is looking ridiculous. I know, would you mind if she makes a comment, Mayor?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
This Corporation Council meets regularly with Ann Lynn and Ted Kaderko. Amongst ourselves, we do law department meetings every month. We did one last week. We talked about several of the addresses. Several of these Ann Lynn has been doing work on. Unfortunately, a lot of these places that are the worst offenders belong to out-of-town banks, and there are some legal wrangling that we're amidst. And unfortunately, it's hard to tell because the place doesn't look any different, but there is a lot of work being done. Mr. Finn, Ann Lynn, and I, and others are looking to form like a strategic mod squad type situations to attack these problem properties. So we have that on our agenda, I think, for the next meeting next month to try to, we've met with City of Chicago Corporation Council on the issue. Unfortunately, because of the foreclosure issue. And Julie Tappendorf actually was at one of these too. We went to this toolkit for municipalities, and it's a big problem for a lot of municipalities because of the way the banks do their business. When you take out a mortgage on your house, you assume your bank still owns the mortgage with a deed. Well, they sell that deed and they wrap it up with other commodities and they sell stock on it. So there's no real technical owner in some of these cases.
Right.
So that's why we modeled our new ordinance to define owner more broadly. So now it's just the fact of getting the proper judgment in court to really enforce those ordinances on a case-by-case basis.
Right. I
Julie,
mean,
would you like to
legally,
comment on
that's
that?
fine. You're doing what you can legally.
Yeah,
But
so, yeah.
that's not going to have that. They get exactly. And that's looking bad.
Unfortunately, the budget doesn't allow for the city to go out and cut all these grasses and get the liens. And unfortunately, a lot of people, we have been in talks with certain contractors to cut the grass and then pay them when we get paid on the liens. And no one wants to do that, so.
Well, when you were talking
Yeah.
about, the youth jobs,
We can't hire
Can we
them.
maybe,
We can't, Ralph. We cannot do it. We cannot bring in these young people to work here because the unions will come after us tooth and nail. They will not allow us to do
Yeah.
it. It's the same situation we had with the crossing guards. It's the same situation we have with the lifeguards.
It's considered a part-time employee.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I can ask,
So we're trying to come up with some
Right.
innovative solutions, and we've been trying to knock on every door we can think of,
But I will
welcome
tell
to
you
any
that letters have
suggestions.
gone out, and let me say that Bank of America was the first one to respond, and they have sent us a list of addresses and so that we know. But I will tell you that I was disappointed by the fact, and I'm not going to name it right now, but a locally owned bank told us to take a hike.
Yeah.
Now, we've gotten letters from the Regional Realtors Organization. Their lawyers are attacking all of the things we're trying to do relative to this program. That's not going to stop us. But the opposition is out there. Now, we did bring up at the last council meeting, and I have discussed this, that we cannot openly ask people to do certain things. But there's a suggestion that we have all of these neighborhood watch groups around Waukegan.
I was going to go there.
There's no reason that Neighborhood Watch could not take it upon themselves to every now and then mow another lawn.
That's what I was going to suggest.
I think Alderman Tempest has already been out doing it, haven't you? So it's something that can be done by volunteers strictly on their own, but it's just a thought to put out there. Is it going to get everything taken care of? No. But I will say that, and again, referring to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, this is a problem across the country.
Right.
In the richest of communities and the poorest of communities, this is happening. But volunteerism is coming out of this problem, and people are addressing it, and they are trying to take care of some of the properties in their neighborhoods. But, Ralph, we're all as angry and frustrated by this as you are, but I would hate to say to our code enforcement people to stop the inspections that are so important to life safety and to proper construction methods and send them out on the grass detail.
I understand all that, but that's part of their job too.
It is part of it.
Looking at all these
and I don't disagree with
properties that
you.
are violating, and these
Right, and
owners
they
of-
are being brought, they are being identified and brought to our attention. But again, it's something that maybe, if Charlotte Callahan is listening at this moment or hears any of this going out, Charlotte, there's probably a bunch of young kids that probably would love to be involved in something. Maybe we could put together a lawnmower team, Waukegan High School lawnmower team, and get kids out there helping to cut the lawns. Something like that is going to have to solve it. Well, that's why we're not asking them to do it ourselves. We can't say go out and do it, but boy, if someone came up with that idea, that'd be great.
Yeah, we actually, I participated a couple of weeks ago in a forum of the south suburbs, and they've been hit really hard in this issue across the board in all of the south suburbs, well, pretty much everywhere, but particularly hard hit there. And they met for a full day to talk about strategies. What are communities doing? From a legal standpoint, there have been a couple of new laws that have been helpful. There's a new priority lien statute that's only a couple of months old. And before, if you file liens and it goes into foreclosure, you're never going to see that money. Now, if you file a priority lien, if you follow the rules in the statute, there's a special procedure, your liens will be paid out only junior to tax liens, which means they get paid out of the foreclosure procedure or the proceeds. So even before the mortgage and anything else is paid off. So that's something to look at, and we're working with Corporation Counsel on that. That's going to come back in an ordinance. So yes, there's still the upfront costs, unfortunately, but at least with the priority lien, you will get paid at some point. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and that may be helpful to talk to some of the contractors. It is a money issue across the board. We're starting to get more authority to do stuff, but do we have the money to do it? So that's been a big issue. I heard from groups that have done exactly what you're talking about. They've talked to neighborhood groups and said, take care of your own. It's a tough time. We as a community will do as much as we can, but funds are low. And even if you had unlimited money, do you have unlimited staff to send out and mow every single lawn every 3 or 4 days or a week, which you need to during the summer?
Right.
So everyone's sort of pitching together. They've found some success in that. That's the lawn mowing, which is sometimes the worst looking, but the easiest to fix. And then if they can get communities to do that, then they can spend their money on things like safety issues, boarding up structures, securing them when they find windows open, those sorts of things.
I'm glad you brought up the safety issue because right on the corner on Keller and Melrose, caught a couple of kids in there, doing some things that they're not supposed to be doing. Doors that are left wide open. I mean, this is becoming a problem.
And there's some new authority for that. It used to be that to go onto someone's property to board it up or secure it, you had to go to court and get a court order. Now, under the new statute, you can actually go on the property and secure it, file a priority lien, and get paid. It's very similar to the way you do with the weed liens. You just provide notice. The notice is hard. Do we know who's supposed to, who's in charge of the property, who under the vacant property registration requirement, whoever has any sort of interest in the property is supposed to register I don't know if we have that in place, but that's helpful to keep track. But again, it's just a lot of work, because who would have expected to have so many?
And I'd like to add, too, that at the conference, it was brought up that the state of Colorado has been working on some sort of new law and initiative regarding abandoned and foreclosed properties, and we'll be doing some research on that to see what they came up with and see if it's something that we can apply here.
Well, I know they, I think, I don't know if it was planning and zoning, or they put a toolkit, this toolkit in my, it's very informative, no question about it.
We put that in for my office.
Yeah, that was very good. One final thing that I wanted to say, I lost a dear friend. Our club lost a dear friend. The city of Waukegan lost a great icon, and that was Lion Bob Abbott. And I just wanted to bring that up. He was a great man. Lion Bob was a tremendous person with, in regards to special education. He was involved in a lot of charitable events. He was truly a great man. We're going to miss him. The community's going to miss him. And I know he has a memorial coming up August 8th over at the Robert Abbott Middle School. I believe it's either 12 or 1 o'clock. But we're truly going to miss this great man. And I know I lost a dear friend, and hopefully we can, all of you will be there for his memorial, and that's going to be on August 8th, either 12 or 1 o'clock over at Bob Abbott Middle School. And again, thank you. That's it, Mayor.
Alderman Cunningham.
Thank you. Just to pick up on Alderman Rivera's comments, Your Honor, I understand that we don't want to take these code enforcement officers out of the homes. However, traditionally, we catch more people during the winter months. I think a suggestion would be, if we had to take them during the summer months, place those resources out on the streets, and then as the winter months come back in, then we move back to putting them inside. Alderman Rivera is absolutely right. We need to show up the outside of our community and kind of leave it as a complaint process with the inside of our community. So I really think those resources are needed more on the outside at this particular juncture, as opposed to the inside. And as time permits, and it gets cold out, which is when most people, you're going to find most violators, let's put them back inside. That's a suggestion. It's up to you and your department heads to kind of utilize that. I would continue to echo the efforts of Public Works, Police, and Fire, as they did a tremendous job. And I think the storm came just out of nowhere for most of us. I know for me, anyway. So a lot of cleanup to do, and hopefully everybody just stays safe out there. Three small things I want to bring up. I want to echo what Alderman Newsom complained about, was noise. I don't know where we at as far as how aggressive we are as we were in the past with pulling cars. I don't know if that's part of our ordinance right now, but the seniors in this community need relief. They need relief from these young folks booming, 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 booming. They're riding down the street, and I like music. I turn it up a little loud myself. But when it is a block away and you're inside the house and you're bumping with the music that's going by, there's a problem with what you like. I guarantee you, if you pull them cars the way we was pulling them for these insurance, these license, and drop that $500, we will curb this problem overnight. I'm with good entertainment. But when you getting most of our homeowners, and particularly our seniors, they just can't deal with this anymore. They're frustrated, they're upset, they're looking for us to do something, and I don't know what other choices that we have. That $50 ticket is not working. The policemen are, they pulling them over, but it's not working. Pull their car. Make them come in there and give $500. Go up there and pay. I guarantee you we wouldn't have a problem in 5 days, 5 business days too. We just simply got to do something with this. We got to give relief to these homeowners in our city. We must give relief to them. So I don't know what we need to do. We need to get those drastic means. I hope Dan is writing this. This might be a suggestion from the council that a $500 fine is going to be put on all these boom boxes. And I hope Chief Yancey can let us know, can citizens call in, get a license plate, and that person can be issued a ticket from me calling in, says 553-2121, went past my house 3 times, boom, in their box? Because it was a question that came to me, and I couldn't answer the question.
Yes, Alderman, that's absolutely correct. We offer the ability, if the officer doesn't witness the violation, we offer that the complainant, if they do wish to be seen, to sign a complaint, and that will go to Branch 1 court. So that is correct.
But they have to show up.
Yes, sir.
In court.
Yes, sir.
It's not good enough just to call and make the complaint. You have to appear to testify to that complaint. And that's the rub. That is the rub in this whole thing, is getting people willing to show up in court. That's the problem.
Okay.
Alderman Tempest.
Thank you. But
I'm sorry, Sam.
But if the officer arrives there and hears it, he hears the problem, he can write the ticket.
Our office,
because you got a lot of homeowners that are not as brave as other homeowners. They're a little afraid of retaliation, a broken window or something. So I always told people, call the police and call me. I'll beat you guys there anyway. And if I hear it, I'll sign the complaint. Because a lot of times they see somebody coming and they turn it down.
Yes.
So you can't hear it. So sometimes the homeowner has to be willing to go to court or hope the officer gets there and hears it if they're afraid. But many people are fearful. They really are.
And as usual,
some people don't have guns. You guys all got guns to defend yourself, But some of us are still brave enough that we will go to court and we will.
And as usual, in years past, as we've done before, there is a zero-tolerance approach that we're taking toward a zero-tolerance approach. If the officer does witness the violation, they are instructed to. The discretion has been taken away, that they are instructed to write and issue the citation.
And I did, talk to our prosecuting attorney, Ted Kaderko, about this, and he said that they have been working better with the city of Waukegan in making sure that these tickets and fines stick. It's not perfect, obviously, but at least we have one judge that's on our side, and, he's trying to work with them. But, it is an irritant. Your right to listen to music that you want to ends at your windows. That's it. Your right to listen to music does not expand out in the street. And I will say one thing about Alderman Newsom's comment, too, about these parties. You don't have the right to set your speakers up outside and play it. That's against city ordinance. You have to have approval to do that. You're not really allowed to project music. And if you do it, and your neighbors don't like it, they have the right to complain, and we have the right to then to penalize you for it. But I will say, Alderman Cunningham, I'm not sure what's on our statutes driven by, what the city council has put in there regarding the noise ordinance, but I'm not sure, is confiscation of the automobile part of that, or is it strictly the $50 ticket?
No, sir. And I believe that the ticket is on a graduating scale. For certain times of day, during the day it's $75, during the evening it's $150, and after midnight it's $300. And we can confiscate the sound device, but not the automobile.
Not the automobile.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is something that you might want to address as legislators. If you wish to see these penalties harshened, it's something that has to happen through the legislative process.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I think a good rule of thought to be followed through is the music is for your ears only. My wife came up with that one. The new neighbors moved in and complained about the loud noise many years ago, and, well, we did it. So, no. The music is for your ears only, not your neighbors. And if you think of it that way, I think everything will be fine.
Right. I mean, if you want to play it in your basement and hurt and damage your eardrums, go ahead. As long as it doesn't get out of your basement and into your neighbor's home where they can hear it. And, you know, I will tell you, we had a neighbor that lived, you know, across the street from us, and they're actually very nice people, but the son would come out and set his speakers up during the day, play it very loud. So we got an idea where we just started our lawnmowers, surrounded the property with lawnmowers running, and left them running. And it took just a few times, and he stopped doing it because he couldn't hear his own music. You know, sometimes you have to be creative in how you fight back. And so it's just something to keep in mind. So obviously I would, encourage Alderman Figueroa to take a look at this in judiciary. If they want to increase the fines and penalties, we'll apply them when we have the appropriate evidence to do so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, thank you, Chief.
And again, I hope Dan got that. Aldermen are thinking about it, and I think we'll at least help some of our homeowners and our seniors. Second, it's great to hear Mr. Blanks from BAM to take on this issue of the local hiring ordinance. I know he's been an advocate about making sure young people have jobs. It was also great to hear that the company that he was working for is now bringing in people from Waukegan. But I think Alderman Figueroa said it best. I think we're going to have an ordinance. An ordinance is going to be appealing to Waukegan people. I know there might be discriminatory things might be out there, but I think there's been some discriminatory things on the inside of Waukegan. When you have that much money that's being generated by the citizens of this community, and they don't get a piece of that pie, how more discriminating can that be? From a legal standpoint, that's something the lawyers have to work out. But from a standpoint of us living in our city and giving somebody else my money to go live and let their families be happy and my family not, that's not a formula of success to me. I believe in win-wins. They're happy, we're happy. That's the way this game's supposed to work. So if Chicago has been able to do it and no one has challenged them, I think Waukegan is able to do it and not get challenged. They're the largest city, I think if not the largest city in the state of Illinois. We're the largest on the North Shore. $43 million. That money went in our city. It wasn't spent in our city. So it is time that Waukegan people start reaping some of its own rewards and not taking care of those Lake Forest, Gurney, Glencoe, Kenosha, Racine, McHenry, Cook County. They don't take care of us. And last but not least, Your Honor, we've talked about this. I know it's been passed on the council floor. I'm hoping that it's been worked on in your office. But our city cannot go another day unless we have prayer to begin this council meeting. It is needed. It brings calmer heads when there's hot issues on this floor. It makes us think differently, talk differently when we're up here. Now, we've talked about it. We've passed it. My understanding, you're going to get a list of different denominations to start off our meetings. I'm going old school a little bit. I was brought in with as an alderman. It helps me out as I move forward in my life. It calms me. So I'm pleading to you and your staff to come up with a list of individuals who can start our meeting off not with a silent prayer, but with a prayer. It is something that the viewers get an opportunity to see, and they like to start this council off with a prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Cunningham. That concludes Alderman's time. Now I'll take a motion from Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Conklin, to go into executive session for a matter of
Real estate.
real estate purchase, potential real estate purchase.
Alderman Conken, Alderman Figueroa, Alderman Newsom, Alderman Tempest, Alderman Needham, Alderman Larson, Alderman Rivera, Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming this evening.
It's going to take 30 seconds.
This is going to take 30 seconds.
Session by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Conken. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion to adjourn by Alderman Figueroa, seconded by Alderman Rivera. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Good job, you guys.